Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our daily Hindu editorial analysis. You are with Alpa Sharma on India's largest online education platform, that is Gradeup. Sahi prep hai to life set hai. Good morning, everyone. Just tell me if I'm loud and clear. Please tell me if I'm loud and clear and visible without any issues so that we can proceed with the class. Good morning, everyone. I'm absolutely good, and I hope you guys are doing great too. I have to talk to you about a lot of things today. Good morning, audible and visible. Chalo, theek hai. So, yes, Ashutosh, even I eagerly wait for the 2 days to pass and come back online on Monday. I eagerly wait for it. So, बहुत सारी बात करनी है मेरे को आप लोगों से. Since most of you are here, I'm going to address this. But before this, एक बार आज का agenda देख लेते हैं. So, today is 12th of July. And as you guys already know, हम एक दिन पुराना newspaper discuss करते हैं so that you read it and come to my classes. But yesterday was Sunday, and Sunday we do not have any editorial. So I have taken the editorial from Saturday, that is 10th of July. All right, 10th of July से editorial लिया है. Two editorials, both are from the Hindu, and both the editorials according to me are very, very important. I think you have to read both of them thoroughly. So we'll be taking two articles from the 10th of July. Now what's going to happen tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to take today's editorial, 12th editorial on 13th. I'll be sharing up a roundup video with you today where I'll be telling you what are the important articles that you have to read. Read those articles, then come to my class tomorrow so that we can have a detailed discussion about them in tomorrow's class. Then, what are we going to do in our class today? For everybody who doesn't know me, I'll just clarify the spelling of my name. बहुत सारे बच्चे incorrect लिखते हैं, deliberately भी लिखते हैं, but I ignore them. So my name spelling is ALPA. My name is Alpa, and I've been teaching for competitive examinations, specifically CLAT, for over 10 years. A lot of aspirants, in fact, I have lost count how many aspirants I've taught have landed up into the top NLUs. So that is about me. And about this session, what do we do in the session? We take a quote of the day, but we have changed this a little. What have we changed here? Already Aradhya knows what I changed. So quote of the day, अब आप मुझे बताओगे. Rather than I am bringing the quote of the day, you will send me the quote of the day. Okay, so I am really sad without studying with you on Saturday and Sunday. I deserve some chutti, right? With the amount of work that I do, I deserve at least a couple of days off. So that is because of it. But I uploaded a lot of videos on Saturday. And I'll be telling you what's going to be our agenda for this coming week as well. I'm going to share this with you. We're going to do really, really a lot of important things. So you will tell me the quote of the day in today's class. Then we're going to revise 3 questions from the last class we had. The last class we had was on Friday. So we're going to revise 3 questions of vocabulary from Friday's class in one-word substitution question form. You will tell me the answer for these questions. Then we're going to discuss 2 complete articles in detail. We will take out the entire vocabulary, phrasal verb and idioms as well from the articles that we have discussed today. And in the end, you will tell me the tone of the author and the summary of the article in the comment section. Remember, summary आप मुझे comment section में लिख के बताओगे. You will not tell me the summary in the chat box because that length of a summary is difficult for me to understand in your chat boxes. I will be reading all of your comments. If there are any suggestions, if there are summaries that you want to write, they have to be in the comment section of the video after the video ends. I'll be checking all of them throughout the day. If there's any other thing that you want to talk to me about, send me a comment under my video. That's one way of communicating with me. The other way of communicating with me will be through our Telegram channel. Okay, our video team will be sharing the link of the Telegram channel here in the chat box soon. Make sure you are in the Telegram group, and always tag me if you want to address something to me in the Telegram group, because out of the hundreds of comments, I might not be able to read each of them. So tag me in the Telegram group if you want to speak to me about anything, specifically about the course, about questions that you're confused with, about ideas that you want to get. So that's how you communicate with me. Okay, all right. Okay. Just a minute. Oh, why are you guys worried? You don't have to be worried. Okay, दो चीज address करते हैं. चलो, now since I have approximately 60-70 people online, I'm going to address a couple of things. First thing, so I am launching a new course. This course specifically is pertaining to studying English and critical reasoning. So I will be teaching in this batch where if you think you are not really good with English or critical reasoning and you can do fairly well in the other subjects, if your English is comparatively weaker, if your critical reasoning is comparatively weaker, this batch is for you. So this batch goes on for roughly, I think, good 10-12 months. And we have a lot of classes. We'll be talking about English and critical reasoning in detail in this batch. If you want to build your basic for English, because the whole examination has to be in English, and your understanding of English and critical reasoning becomes really important, because you also have to attempt for legal reasoning. That's another section. And since CLAT is mostly reading based, this batch is designed in that way. So we're launching this batch within this week. If you or any of your friends or any of your juniors or seniors or any one of you, if you think your English needs to be improved, if you want to study with me, you have to enroll yourself into this batch. If you want to know about this batch, this is our counselor's number. We're doing a lot of practice. We're doing a lot of theory from scratch. Basic se karenge. Batch mostly bilingual hoga, because I'll be addressing all the kinds of people who are going to be in the batch. So make sure you enroll yourself into this batch at the soonest, so that we don't waste time if you're targeting 22 or any other batches later on, 23 as well. So ये एक communication था जो मुझे आपके साथ करना था, ठीक है? All right, दूसरी communication जो मुझे आपके साथ करनी थी, that was, let me go back to my slide here. I'll show you something. So a lot of you had been demanding for critical reasoning marathon. Okay, so I am coming up with a critical reasoning marathon class this week. Make sure you find the link of this class whenever that happens. I'll be communicating about that to you whenever it is going to happen, but this is going to happen within this week. I'll be trying to create a critical reasoning marathon. We'll be discussing a lot of paragraph based questions, one-liner questions. I'll be discussing these. So make sure you attend these, because आज भी आरती ने मुझसे बोला मैम critical reasoning marathon करवा दो. Yes, I'll be doing that for all of you demanding for this. I'll be having a critical reasoning marathon class within this week. Then next thing that I want to communicate with you. Just a minute. CR नहीं, RC ही चाहिए. अच्छा, okay. RC भी करेंगे. Third thing that I want to communicate with you is, आप में से कितने लोगों ने SLAT का पेपर दे दिया है? How many of you have given SLAT's paper or possibly are giving it today? Tell me. Okay. Thank you so much, Yeshita. That is my Guru Dakshina. I am so glad. I am so happy you've written this. Okay. So how many of you have already given SLAT or are giving it today? Could you please tell me? Anshika, you've given it already? Yeshita, Gayatri. No, Gayatri speaking to Ashutosh. Okay. All right. Okay. So guys, मैं आपको एक बात बताती हूँ. आपने मेरा short video already देख लिया होगा, where I was so happy about the fact that, you know, the first day when SLAT happened, उसमें जो 3 articles आए थे, उसमें से 2 articles we had already discussed in our classes. एक specific question था tone of the author, and there were 2 questions on vocabulary. Exactly the same words were discussed in my editorial classes. I was on cloud 9. I was really happy because my efforts And your efforts are worthwhile. When we wake up every day in the morning and make these classes, and you come with me and you study with me for 1 long hour, this will certainly pay off. So all those students, अभी तक सिर्फ SLAT का examination हुआ है. We don't know ALET में क्या आएगा, we don't know CLAT में क्या आएगा, we don't know आज SLAT में क्या आने वाला है. But these classes are really beneficial for us. I'm sure you now know this, how important these classes are. So इसलिए editorial पढ़ना बहुत necessary है. Come with me live every day where we take out the vocabulary, where we discuss the tone of the author, because according to me, and we discuss the summary of the passage, because according to me, these three kind of questions are really important. A lot of questions can be framed out of the daily Hindu editorials every single day. Okay, now yes, okay. तो ये है आप लोगों का third announcement that I think you should be reading editorial every day. You should come every day live with me and be discussing it with me. आज जो SLAT का पेपर होने वाला है, my assumption is it will have a lot of vocabulary. That's my assumption. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes out. Let's see if I'm right here or not. Ma'am, कभी suitable title वाला question भी. Okay, I'll answer your question, Ashutosh. I'll answer this for everyone who is confused with suitable title questions. And if you're confused with it, I'll give you a Brahmastra for it. The Brahmastra for a suitable title is, if the author asks you the title of the passage, do not be confused. All he is asking you here is, what is the main idea of the passage? Main idea that you write down in the comment section. And that's exactly why I tell you, you have to write down the summary in very precise words. Possibly at max 1 line, not more than that. Write a line that's going to encompass everything that is discussed in the passage. A title is nothing else but just asking you if you've understood the passage or not. You need to know what is the main idea. If you've understood the passage, if you know the summary, the gist, the main idea, title is more or less the same thing. If you think what we used to do in the school while writing the title, be very creative, you're mistaken here. This examination will never check your creativity. So any title that's really generic, vague, creative, old is gold, no, that will be one of the worst options to mark as the answer. Remember this. Title has to be a concise form of main idea. In fact, the more detailed the title, the better it is. Title does not necessarily mean you have to make it concise. Always remember, if I have to mark the title, I just have to look at the main idea, and any title, any option that includes most of the things in the passage will be the most appropriate title. I will try not to mark generic options here. I hope I've answered your question, Ashutosh, and a lot of you as well struggling with the title here. Now, I've spoken about this new batch that I'm launching. Apart from that, if you're targeting CLAT 22, we have another comprehensive course beginning for you. We have approximately 200 live classes, a lot of interactive quiz, tests, mock test, current affairs, legal reasoning, everything is going to be covered up here. This is the number of our counselors. Please speak to them to know more about the course. So, okay. Is this session important for CLAT 21? Nivedita, yes. I've already addressed it. Why is it important? I'm preparing for PCS exam, but I like your editorial. Is it helpful for me? Absolutely. Editorial kahin ka bhi aa sakta hai, kahin se bhi aa sakta hai. It's important for all the examinations, whatever you're preparing for. All right. So now let's start off with the class. Tell me a quote of the day. You guys will tell me the quote of the day. Tell me. Anyone, please tell me. Acha, quote of the day batao. कौन बताएगा? Exactly, at the instance, hope ceases to be reasonable, it begins to be useful. Okay, your positive action combined with positive thinking result in success. Absolutely. One, this is a very good quote by Aarti. One, you have to believe in yourself that I can do it. Two, you have to work positively towards itself as well. These two things are more than enough for you getting success. You need to look at yourself positively. This is the time. We have 1 week left for CLAT. Not 1 week, a little more than that. So this might be making you feel jittery, anxious. Don't let that happen. Just positivity is all you need right now. Think positively. Things are going to work in my favor. I have worked enough. मैं अच्छे से मैंने preparation करी है. So make sure you think positively and you keep working positively. That's going to make sure that you achieve success. Nothing's going to stop you from that. All right. I hope you get the quote of the day. Now let's start off with the vocabulary revision from yesterday's class. Friday's class. Tell me one word for something that is increasingly intense. Is it yearn? Is it relentless? Is it verbose? Is it repentance? What is our answer? Who will answer this for me? Hard work beats talent. Yes, certainly. What is the answer here? Believe in yourself and everything will come true. Just remember that. Yes. Write it down somewhere at the top of your study table. Okay. So, yes, the answer is relentless. Absolutely relentless. Okay. I'm feeling very mournful currently. Why are you not taking the RC passages? We all know that, ma'am, by simply doing the class by practicing does not help us in paper. Why, ma'am? Okay, I'll answer this question again. I've answered this before. I'll answer this again. The answer here is absolutely relentless. Relentless is without failing. Your hard work has to be relentless. You relentlessly have to keep working towards achieving your goal. Intensifying it without even giving it a stop is relentless. To yearn is to long. Long means to with a very passion, a lot of passion, you desire something. That is yearning. Verbose, very talkative. Repentance is to regret. So these are the words. Next one, to accept something as certain. Is it octogenarian? Is it conscience? Is it reckon? Is it foretold? What is the answer? Gradeup के notification क्यों नहीं आते? अनुज, आपने सब्सक्राइब किया चैनल को? That is when you'll get the notification. Remaining options explain किया मैंने Horlicks bro आपको. If you want to know any other word, I can do it again. I'll try to do it, Chino. C. Tanu says C, but mathematics solution says B. The answer is not B. The answer is C. Absolutely. It is C. It is to reckon, is to accept something that is certain. Conscience is your inner sense that tells you, differentiates between right and wrong. That is your conscience. Okay. That is not the meaning of this phrase. Then octogenarian, somebody who falls between 80 to 89 years of age is an octogenarian. Foretold is to predict. Next one, an act of abdicating or renouncing the. Oh, the answer is already written here. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, I am so sorry for this answer already given. The answer obviously has to be abdication because it is written here in the definition, but nonetheless, who is indigenous? Indigenous is belonging to the local place. Okay, local. That very land is indigenous. Squalid is in a very, very poor condition, pathetic condition because of poverty usually. Poor condition because of poverty. And then we have perverse. Perverse is deliberately doing opposite of what is usually accepted. You memorize this word with reverse if you remember this. I taught you this word. So perverse is doing exactly, deliberately doing the opposite of what the authority wants you to do or what common people believe you should be doing. That's perverse. Okay, chalo. Let's move on to the vocabulary from today's editorial. Now, understand these words very clearly. I don't have a lot of words. The articles are really, really, really important. So, the first word, disconcerting. These words are out of today's editorial that we are going to discuss. So, okay, disconcerting. Disconcerting has a prefix dis, which is a negative prefix. This word has to have a negative connotation. Disconcerting is anything that makes you feel jittery or not really happy or unsettled. Unsettled feeling is you don't feel everything is okay. That kind of a feeling is unsettled. That is disconcerting. आपको uneasy feel कराती है कोई चीज, वो होता है disconcerting. He had a disconcerting habit of offering jobs to people he met at dinner parties. बहुत ही uneasy habit थी उसकी. Normal habit नहीं थी. This is disconcerting. Okay. Next word is menacing. ओके, डेनिस द मेनिस वाज अ कार्टून कैरेक्टर, इफ यू नो अबाउट इट, तो उससे आप मेनेसिंग याद कर सकते हो. मेनेसिंग इज कोई भी चीज जो कि ट्रबल क्रिएट करती है. टू क्रिएट ट्रबल इज टू menace समथिंग. समथिंग जो ये बताता है कि डेंजर है या थ्रेटनिंग चीज है. द ऑफिस एनकाउंटर्ड menacing looks from the teenagers. टीनेजर्स ने उनको थ्रेटनिंग और डेंजर जैसे लुक्स दिए. टेक इनटू स्वीप, या तो किसी चीज को कंप्लीटली हटाना एक स्वीप में, या कंप्लीटली बहुत ही पावर के साथ, इज टू डू समथिंग इन अ स्वीप. Okay, to carry something away is also can also be in a sweep, but it has to be with a lot of pressure and lot of power. That is to take something in sweep. Next word is to surmise. Any doubts, anybody? Yes, Dennis the Menace से याद करना is easy, correct. साहिल देखो मेरी बात समझो. Look into my eyes and listen to what I'm saying. Right now, what you need to do is have patience and not be anxious. That is the worst thing that you can do right now. I know, I have given examinations, I know how it feels. I know, because you've been preparing for one long year, you may feel anxious, but you have to keep reminding yourself that feeling anxious will ruin everything for me. Don't do that. I'm actually worried about you. आप इतना anxious हो रहे हो. Don't do that. Don't ruin things. आप जितनी मेहनत कर रहे हो, that is enough. You have to keep reminding yourself. All right? Okay. So, okay. Now let's move on to the meaning of the word surmise. Surmise is supposing that something is true without having evidence to confirm it. आप assume करते हो is to surmise. You assume something without evidence. You assume things to be true is surmise. But when I say assume, it's different in critical reasoning than in English. I'll talk about that in my critical reasoning classes. He surmised that something must be wrong. उसने assume किया. उसने माना कोई चीज कि वो चीज गलत है. Okay, next is proactive. Proactive is creating or controlling a situation rather than responding to it after it has happened. आप एक situation को proactively control करते हो rather than just responding to it. आप उसको control करने की situation में आते हो. That is proactive. Employers must take a proactive approach to equal pay. उनको action लेने पड़ेंगे. To take actions is proactive. Last one is brazen. Brazen is जो बिल्कुल किसी से डरता नहीं है, बहुत bold है और shameful भी हो सकता है, without any control is brazen. I hope you get the word. He went about his illegal business with a brazen assurance. बिना किसी डर के, बिना law के डर के, बिना किसी और के डर के. Boldly and shamelessly he did this. So shamelessly is brazen, without fearing of anything. Okay, so all right. It is easy to say that. No, it's not easy. I've been in your place. I've been in your shoes, so I know how important it is reminding. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. एग्जाम ऑन स्ट्रेस नहीं, स्ट्रेस नहीं लेना है, किसी को स्ट्रेस नहीं लेना है. स्ट्रेस लेने का स्पेस ही नहीं होना चाहिए आपकी लाइफ में. इम्पावरिश्ड. Impoverished is simple. किसी भी चीज को और पुअर बनाना. To make anything poor is impoverished. Impoverished villages, poor villages. Okay? Malnutrition भी आप यूज करते हो, but usually ये poor money के सेंस में यूज होता है impoverished. Okay? Then mercenaries. Mercenaries are soldiers. Soldiers और उनका ग्रुप जो कि यूजुअली एक फॉरेन लैंड में, फॉरेन आर्मी में काम करते हैं. ओके, सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक फॉरेन सोल्जर को मैंने हायर किया है मेरी आर्मी के लिए काम करने के लिए. दीज आर मर्सिनरीज. ही हैड प्लान टू सीज पावर विद द एड ऑफ द ग्रुप ऑफ मर्सिनरीज. फॉरेन आर्मी इज मर्सिनरीज. नेक्स्ट वन इज अ कूप. A coup is usually a group of people or soldiers जो suddenly गवर्नमेंट से पावर लेने के लिए कुछ करते हैं. That is a coup. Usually soldiers or people. So he was overthrown in an army coup. So he possibly was a government official या फिर प्रेसिडेंट था या प्राइम मिनिस्टर था और इसको ओवरथ्रो कर दिया इस आर्मी कूप ने. वो आर्मी का ग्रुप जो कि ओवरथ्रो करने के लिए, गवर्नमेंट को ओवरथ्रो करने के लिए कुछ करता है. दैट इज अ कूप. So to overthrow the government with the help of a group of army, a group of people is a coup. Usually army के लिए use होता है. Okay, myriad, a lot of. Myriad means a variety. A lot of. Okay, so myriad of insects danced around the light above my head. A lot of insects, अलग अलग तरह के बहुत सारे insect मेरे ऊपर में लाइट के ऊपर में डांस कर रहे थे. Nice sentence actually. I hope you get all the words here. Okay. Yes, Myanmar military coup. Correct. Okay. All right. चलो अब बातें आप बंद करोगे. All right, no talking amongst yourselves because otherwise I'll have to ignore your comments. Because if you talk amongst yourselves, I'm not able to concentrate into what comments are aimed at me. I am going to start discussing the articles now. So article samjho. I hope that boosts your confidence a little. Both the articles are really, really important. One is a law-based article. The other is a very sad yet funny article. So we're going to discuss that. Chalo, back to the class everyone. No more talking amongst yourselves. Okay, this is the first article that we're going to discuss now. So this article is about the section 66A of the IT Act. This section of 66A of the IT Act, जिसकी मैं आपको definition बताऊंगी, ये वो एक्ट है जो ऑलरेडी अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर कर दिया गया है बाय आवर सुप्रीम कोर्ट. 2015 में एक केस हुआ था, Shreya Singhal versus the Union of India. This was a case in 2015 and दो जजेस का एक बेंच था. Those two judges and the bench declared section 66A of the IT Act to be unconstitutional. Now, in 2015, as this act was declared unconstitutional, still people are using this section and people are filing FIR till date, are filing FIR and ये केस को यूज कर रहे हैं लोगों को सू करने के लिए. अब ये केस क्या है, इसमें एम्बिगिटी क्या है, क्यों इसको अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बताया गवर्नमेंट ने, वो डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड व्हाई आर स्टिल पीपल यूजिंग दिस टू फाइल FIR अगेंस्ट पीपल. So we had already discussed about sedition as a draconian law. We had already discussed about UAPA as a draconian law. और इनको हम चेंज करने की नीड थी. Similarly, 66A को भी चेंज करने की नीड थी and the government has finally, the judges of the Supreme Court has finally, they had declared the law as unconstitutional. But क्या था law? चलो, let's start reading. It is quite disconcerting that the Supreme Court had been informed for the second time in 2 years that 66A of the IT Act, which was struck down as unconstitutional 6 years ago, is still being invoked by the police and in some cases trial courts. Now imagine 2015 में, when the government had, declared this as an unconstitutional act, still a lot of policemen are using this to file FIR, including some trial courts also using it. And दो बार already हमारी Supreme Court ने announce कर दिया that no, you can't do this because these laws are unconstitutional. Still, why are they using it? One can see why the court deemed it a shocking state of affairs. Court ने क्या बोला, Supreme Court ने, it is a shocking state of affairs when a petition by the People's Union PUCL came up for hearing. अब देखो, PUCL will be one name जो आप बहुत सुनोगे जब आप NLU में जाओगे. You will be hearing this name a lot because a lot of lawyers are hired by PUCL for internship. A lot of them. So you'll be listening to this name a lot. Now here what happened, when the court saw a petition by PUCL and when the court came for hearing, the court said, oh, it is a shocking state of affairs. Why did they say that? Section 66A made messages deemed by the police to be offensive or menacing to anyone or those that caused annoyance. देखो ये definition is law की. कोई भी मैसेज जो किसी को अनॉय कर सकता है उसको एक क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस का स्टेटस दे दिया जाएगा. अब आपको ये अनॉय कर रहा है कि मैम आप रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन की क्लास क्यों नहीं ले रहे हो, यू आर अनॉयड विद इट, कैन यू sue me under 66A? According to the definition, you can. Any kind of annoyance given to anybody can be sued under Article 66A, which is unconstitutional right now. क्योंकि इसका definition इतना vague है, the court had to unconstitutionalize this act. ऐसा होना जरूरी था. In its landmark judgment, of course landmark था क्योंकि तब से कोर्ट ने इसको unconstitutional declare कर दिया था. और पता है अगर आप किसी को सू करते हैं अंडर दिस एक्ट, क्या होगा इसमें, आपको ऑलमोस्ट 3 years का इंप्रिजनमेंट मिल सकता है सिर्फ इस फैक्ट पे कि मैंने किसी को अनॉय किया है, इरिटेट किया है मेरे वर्ड्स के या मेरे जेस्चर्स के साथ. इट्स एक्चुअली फनी. So, in the landmark judgment, the court ruled that the provision was vague and violated the freedom of free speech. मेरा freedom of free speech है, मैं किसी को criticize कर सकती हूँ, वो आपको annoy कर रहा है, that's your problem. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's your problem. So basic जो हमारा fundamental right of freedom of speech है, उसको ही violate कर रहा था ये law. It was so broadly defined. Yes, that was the problem with that. So not the details. It was so broadly defined that a lot of things fell into its criteria. That it took into sweep protected speech also, and therefore upset the balance between exercise of the free speech and imposition of reasonable restriction on it. देखो overlapping laws हो गए थे यहाँ. एक आपको जो राइट मिलता है ऑफ फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच, दूसरा दिस लॉ, ये ओवरलैपिंग हो गए थे. इफ वन इज ट्रू द अदर कैन नॉट बी ट्रू. They are contradictory to each other. So the government had to make this landmark judgment in 2015. In 2019 again, अब 15 में देखो unconstitutional कर दिया इसको. In 2019 too, the court's attention was drawn to the same problem of the invalid provision being used by the police to register cases on the basis of complaint. पुलिस FIR कर देती है. Although ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, फिर भी पुलिस FIR करती. 2009 में वापस कोर्ट ने ये बोला ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, डू नॉट फाइल FIRs, वी विल नॉट लिसन टू इट. नॉट मच सीम टू हैव चेंज सिंस देन. अभी भी कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ है. A lot of people are still sued for being annoying to anybody. And it is quite surprising that the police headquarters and prosecutors in various states had not disseminated the effect of the court ruling among officers manning police stations. So it is actually very disturbing that why are the police officers still not following the they are still not actually giving up on this unconstitutional law. Why are they still following it? It's actually disturbing. There were also instances of courts framing charges under section 66A. कोर्ट ने भी चार्जेस देखो, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कर दिया, पुलिस तो कर ही रही है FIR. There are a lot of courts that are also charging people under 66A even after lawyers had cited the 2015 judgment. जो केस फाइट कर रहा था, लॉयर ने बोला है कि अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, फिर भी कोर्ट्स ने चार्ज कर दिया लोगों को. Why is this happening? I'm repeating this question again and again. Why will this be happening? The answer, most of you know. Let's see what is the answer. The POCL has said as many as 745 cases are still pending, charging under the 66A of the IT Act. Imagine, even after the law being unconstitutional, we have 745 cases still pending. That means आपको कभी ना कभी कोर्ट जाना पड़ेगा. आपको some local courts आपको guilty भी बता सकते हैं because they're not following it. It is not difficult to surmise that police officers who receive complaints and register them as FIR may not be aware of the judgment. ठीक है, हम मान लेते हैं कि police officers might not know about this amendment in the case, though one cannot rule out the instances of this section being invoked deliberately as a tool of harassment. हम benefit of doubt we can give it to the police officers that they might not know that if this is constitutional or unconstitutional, but there is a hidden agenda behind that. Possibly some of the police officers are deliberately using it as a tool of harassing somebody कि चल तुम पे केस करता हूं मैं, आओ तुम 66A में. Common man might not know about it. It's only to harass some people the police might be using this. Ignorance of the law is no excuse for the citizen. मुझे नहीं पता था कि ड्रिंक एंड ड्राइव नहीं करते तो मैंने ड्रिंक एंड ड्राइव कर लिया. क्या मुझे कोर्ट फ्री कर देगी इस लॉजिक पे कि इग्नोरेंट हूं मैं? Of course not. You have to know about your laws of your country you're living in. You also need to know about your rights. So ignorance can never be accepted by the court, and it must be equally be no excuse for police officers who include invalidated sections of the FIR. So if a common man needs to know कि drink and drive allowed नहीं है, a police officer also needs to know that drink and drive allowed नहीं है. Similarly, a common man and police officer, all of them need to know that 66A is unconstitutional now in our country. Recently, the police in Uttar Pradesh, इस स्टेट का नाम जरूर आता है जब ऐसे लॉस की बात होती है. 66A, sedition, UAPA. So recently, the police in Uttar Pradesh booked a journalist for defamation under the section 500 of IPC, even though the Supreme Court had ruled that defamation can be pursued only by the way of private complaint. FIR नहीं होगी, private complaint हो सकती है. ये बात पता थी यूपी पुलिस को. Still, UP police filed an FIR of defamation against that journalist. The current hearing may result in directions to state and the police as well as the court registries for appropriate advisories to both station house officers and magistrate. So, correct advisory देना जरूरी है अभी कोर्ट के लिए, and possibly this new hearing may result in advisory given to courts, the lower courts, and a lot of police stations as well. but it is not necessary for those concerned to wait for such orders. You don't have to wait for these orders to come in after this recent hearing, because you need to know what the law is, and this law is unconstitutional right now. Police chiefs and the directorates of prosecution must proactively begin the process of conveying to the lower courts and investigators that this judgment, 2015 judgment of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, has declared this law to be unconstitutional, and their effect on the practices relating to investigation, prosecution and framing of charges from time to time. बार-बार FIR करना गलत है. You don't have to do that. The police officers, the police chiefs, the directorate of prosecution has to take up the responsibility to let people, police and lower courts know that this law is no more in use in our country. So, I hope you understand this. Okay. Okay. All right. Chalo. So Aradhya tells me what is the tone of the author. She says it's critical and argumentative. Aarti says descriptive. Okay. Zizi says critical and concerning and suggestive. Krishan, a lot of them are 22 aspirants, bache. Okay. All right. So it is absolutely concerning, because how the law has been declared unconstitutional and how people are still using it in a manner to harass somebody. I will consider this to be a concerning one tone. Apart from that, it can be critical as well. Yes. So he's actually criticizing why the courts, lower courts, and the police officers are still using this law to file FIR. But more than critical, it is still concerning. वो worried है कि क्यों use कर रहे हो तुम? People need to know that it is not right. So more than critical, I think it is concerning. If I have to choose one tone, it has to be concerning. No, Shreya, sarcasm नहीं है. Sarcasm में मजाक उड़ाना होता है. यहाँ मजाक कहीं नहीं उड़ाया, okay? Okay. So informative, yes. Informative bhi has some parts, because the author tells you about the law, tells you about the cases that are pending, tells you about how and what case it was unconstitutional declared. Okay, yes, it is not argumentative. No, absolutely Krishan is correct. It is not argumentative, because he is not presenting his point of view कि ऐसा करना चाहिए या वैसा करना चाहिए. Okay, so I don't think this is argumentative here. All right, so let's move on to the next article. Stick with me, everyone. Yes, lampooning and concerning will be the most suitable title, but if I have to choose one, it has to be concerning only. Okay, so now the next article. Ab dekho. Now I will not be looking into your chat boxes anymore, because I'll be explaining the article to you. Next one, this article, but before that, if you're targeting CLAT 2023, we have a foundation module starting very soon. I'm going to be a part of this foundation module too. We have approximately 400 plus live classes, 80 plus mock tests, 400 plus PDFs. Do not waste your time, because we do not have 2 long years left for this course. Okay, approximately 1.5 years. So make sure you enroll yourself at the soonest. This is the number of our counselors. Please speak to them to know more about the course. Now see, this article is a little sad. It's a little funny. And it's funny because political chaos क्या हो सकता है, कितना वर्स हो सकता है, Haiti, a Caribbean country, will tell you. अभी जो Haiti में हुआ है, the president of Haiti was murdered in his own residence. So the president's house, he was murdered there. Unnamed people entered, killed him and moved out, and nothing happened. Later on, these unnamed people who had killed the president of Haiti were arrested. Some of them were killed. But who and what was the agenda behind that, and who guided these unnamed people? Nobody knows. और इसके साथ जो political situation है Haiti में, it has become so chaotic. I'll tell you why has it become so chaotic. Because जो successor होगा उसमें chaos है. How did this president come into power? ये chaotic है. His own murder assassination is also chaotic. So this article shows the epitome of chaos a political situation can get in. So it's a little funny actually how chaotic it is, and it's actually sad as well. Okay, so just a minute, guys. Okay, so the murder of the president on assassination of Jovenel Moise. Haiti needs to hold both legislative and presidential elections soon for a legitimate government. ये तो suggestion है that an election has to be happening anytime soon because the president is dead here. The brazen assassination, bold and shameless assassination of Jovenel Moise, the 53-year-old president of Haiti, has pushed the impoverished Caribbean country. One, the country is poor. Okay, then the president is killed. Country battered by the political and economic crisis into more chaos. Chaos is the article for this word. Now, chaos is the country is struggling for its economy to revive. The country also is struggling from COVID. Remember that. ये situation हम भूल नहीं सकते हैं कि जो कुछ भी हो रहा है ये during the COVID crisis हो रहा है. So the country is poor, the country is struggling to revive its economy, and then the president is dead. Haitian police say 28 foreign mercenaries. Imagine 28 foreign army troop, including a retired Colombian soldiers, killed the president at his residence. 28 people entered, killed him, president ke residence mein. How is that even possible? On Wednesday, most of them were arrested and some were killed in a gun battle. But the key question is, who was the mastermind who wanted him to be killed? And what was the motive of killing this president with the aid of foreign army? Foreign army aake kill karke gayi hai. And they walked into the president's residence, shot him dead and exit. How is that even possible? These questions are yet to be answered. Moise was at the center of a political crisis that had shaken the country in recent months. Now let's go back to understand what was the political crisis that was going on in Haiti. His opponents claimed that his 5-year term came to an end on February 7. February 7 में already उनका 5-year term खत्म हो रहा था. And they want, okay, resign करो. But he did not want to resign. Moise, who took over office in February 17, months after his disputed election in 2016, that claimed his term would end only by February 22. So, opposition says February 7 में आपका term खत्म हो गया, आप resign करो. But Moise used to say कि मैं power में इलेक्शन जीतने के कुछ महीने बाद आया हूं, सो मेरा टर्म टेक्निकली February 22 में खत्म होगा. आई विल नॉट रिजाइन. एंड ऑल्सो हिज विक्ट्री वॉज वेरी डिस्प्यूटेड विक्ट्री. एक क्लियर विनर बन के वो नहीं आए थे. इट वॉज अ वेरी डिस्प्यूटेड वन. When the opposition formed a parallel government, opposition said, okay, if you're not resigning, I'm forming a parallel government. Moise alleged a coup and cracked down on them. So he said, I am not going to resign. मेरा term 22 February में खत्म होगा. You have to bear with my government. Moise came to power promising to strengthen Haiti's institution, fix its economy, fight corruption, stabilize government. These were the things that Moise had promised, and that's how he came into the government. But he himself faced serious corruption allegations. Imagine he promised, मैं corruption कम करूंगा, and most of the corruption allegations in the country were against him. So that was another chaos. His government could not hold the 2019 parliamentary elections, and the economy contracted under his watch. Economy went really, really bad till the time he was into power. Those 5 years he was into power, the economy took a nosedive. The outbreak of COVID-19 made the matters worse. So this was how Haiti was struggling with a lot of things, including the power Moise had. Now Haiti stares into an uncertain future. अब आगे क्या होगा ये नहीं पता. ये क्यों chaotic है? Future is also chaotic. अब now that he is dead, उनका resignation का तो wait करने का need नहीं है, but still there's a lot of chaos left behind. What is it? According to the constitution, the president of Supreme Court should take charge. But the Supreme Court chief died. अब देखो constitution कहता है कि once the president is dead, the president of the Supreme Court should take charge. But the president of the Supreme Court chief died due to COVID. He is no more. Now who is going to take power? There is no legislature that as the 2019 elections had been postponed. 2019 में कोई election नहीं हुआ तो कोई legislature नहीं बना और chaos add हो गया. But for now, interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph has taken the charge. ठीक है, interim Prime Minister ने charge ले, लेकिन ये भी contradictory है. This is also chaotic. Why? Because Moise had before his death fired the interim Prime Minister. कि उन्होंने fire कर दिया इनको कि ये नहीं बन सकते हैं, और एक न्यूरोसर्जन को अपॉइंट कर दिया कि ये न्यूरोसर्जन बन सकते हैं interim Prime Minister. तो इनको फायर कर दिया और एरियल हैनरी को अपॉइंट कर दिया. नाउ दैट द इंटरिम प्राइम मिनिस्टर क्लॉड जोसेफ हैज टेकन द चार्ज, एरियल हेनरी जो न्यूरोसर्जन थे जिनको अपॉइंट किया था मॉइस ने, वो बोल रहे हैं कि आप कैसे ले सकते हो पावर, पावर तो मैं लूंगा. सो अगेन दिस केओस अबाउट कौन एक्चुअली रन करेगा अभी कंट्री. Nobody knows that. Mr. Joseph is now consolidating the government, but Mr. Henry has asked him to step down. Of course, because Mr. Henry was given power by Mr. Moyes, the uh, head of the state, signaling that another political crisis is taking shape. I'm sure this is going to be another crisis here, according to the author, because there's a lot of chaos. Who is going to take up the power? We don't know. The head of the chief of the court is dead. The president is dead. The appointed person was actually fired. Somebody else was appointed. It's too much chaos. This is not the time for another power struggle. Haiti's politicians and military should take phased approach of uncovering the truth, stabilizing the country, and ensuring the formation of a legitimate administration. Now that when the country is struggling with economic crisis and COVID crisis, this is a suggestion to the government, to the politicians, that there should be a logical approach in forming a new government, choosing somebody who takes charge of the country, and also dealing with the financial crisis the country is in. That should be the focus. The government's immediate priority should get to the bottom of assassination. किसने assassin किया ये भी पता लगाना जरूरी है. Only on the basis of that, a new government will be formed. If it was the opposition cannot come into the power. So thorough investigation needs to be done. If foreign nationals were involved in the attack, as the police have claimed, Haiti should get international help to investigate. कौन सी country से आए थे? उनकी help चाहिए investigation करने में. And Haitian leaders should not allow the vacuum left by Moise's assassination to destabilize the country any further, because already the country is in a very destabilized state. His killing, Moise's assassination should not lead the country into more economic and financial crisis. Part of the problem Haiti faces is its inability to hold free and fair and credible election. 2019 में भी नहीं हुए थे, अभी भी नहीं हो पा रहे हैं. So the country also has to deal with it and ensure a peaceful transition of power rather than a fight for power that we can see currently. Interim Prime Minister Mr. Joseph, Mr. Henry and other leaders. देखो दो interim Prime Minister हो गए, because Mr. Joseph हैं जिनको elect करके fire कर दिया था, and then there's Mr. Henry who was appointed now, who wants to be in the power, and there are other political leaders. They have to come together, hold a legislative and presidential election at the opportune time to ensure that the stable government with popular legitimacy is in place. So rather than fighting amongst yourself with the power, what needs to be done is a valid, a legalized election is held and the people choose their own government. That's the best way to go forward with it. Okay, tragic, absolutely tragic and suggestive. Tragic and suggestive, बिल्कुल correct. Absolutely. Why they choose surgeon? क्योंकि हमने भी एक बहुत अच्छा पोजीशन फिल किया है. हमारे जो न्यू कैबिनेट ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स आए हैं, do you know who am I referring to? The IIT graduate and the GE chief, ex-GE chief. It's always important to take educated people. It is tragic and it is suggestive, according to me. Okay, so I hope you understand the tone here. Critical, more than critical, it's sad actually. What is happening is it's very chaotic and tragic. It should not have happened. वो बार बार कह रहा है ये killing हो कैसे सकती है? We need to check how that killing happened with foreign aid. So yes, Lauren, absolutely correct. So I hope you understand this article, everyone. So Krishan says analytical. Not much. I disagree. Because यहाँ situation की analysis नहीं कर रहा author. वो नहीं बता रहा कि ऐसा क्यों हो सकता है. Why, how. If these questions are answered, only then the article can be analytical. Remember that. Why, how needs to be answered. Okay. Now I'll show you the caricature of the day. So, but remember, you have to tell me the summary of the articles in the comment section. All right, the summary in the comment section after the class ends. And if you're targeting MHCT, we have another Champions Crash course beginning soon. please speak to our counselors on this number if you want to improve your scores in MHCT LLB. These are the list of faculties that we have. I'm sure आप सबको जानते होंगे, all of them. And this is our caricature of the day. So you tell me, सारे tones की definition कहाँ मिलेगी शुभम? 2 of my videos that I've saved in this channel, just search bar में डालना Alpa Sharma, tone of the author. You will find 2 of my videos. Watch them. You will know exactly how many tones and how to we use tones. Okay? Okay. मैम न्यूज़पेपर अब रीड करना बंद कर दे, जीके के लिए बंद कर दो, एडिटोरियल बंद मत करो. That will keep you into a habit of reading. Yes, reshuffling of the cabinet. But what is this that he is wearing? Reshuffling तो हो गई, but what is he wearing and what is he doing? That is actually the sarcasm or actually joke that's here. Cabinet तो reshuffle हो रहा है. What is it? Cabinet reshuffle हो रहा है and he's pumping the tube he is in. Yes, it's the tube, Emily, correct. And the tube will help him float over the problems that were there in the last few years of his control of the power. So this, to float over the problems. Not to sink, but to float. The new cabinet will help him. Okay, so I hope you get this, everyone. Now I'm going to see you. I'll be uploading a short video, a roundup video, where I'll be talking about today's editorial and what you need to read through today's editorial. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with another. But before that, like deke jana, everyone. All right. So I'll be seeing you tomorrow with another editorial class. And I'll be taking a critical reasoning marathon this week. So till then, work very hard, everyone. And yes, that is our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone. God bless all of you and work very, very, very hard.